Hey, what's up guys, it's Callsign Villain, welcome back. I've got a mystery box here. We're going to dive into this, and this will be the first in a probably 3, maybe 4-part series on a new gun build that I'm doing. So this first video will be just kind of an unboxing and my initial impressions, and then we'll go through the upgrades. I'm going to do a custom paint job, all kind of stuff with this thing. So you're wondering, what's in this nondescript, ugly brown box? Let's rip it open and I will show you. Yeah, like I said, this box is plain Jane, very boring. But inside it is the A&K SR25. This is the zombie killer version. Who cares? I went for the version that was in stock because, as I said, I'm going to paint it. As you can tell by the blue tape, I did purchase this from the e-bike retail store. So California government officials, they're doing their jobs, they're taping their shit up. Don't give them hassle. But I will be ripping this tape off, so deal with it. I wanted to build a DMR, and in kind of trying to decide what route to go with the DMR, I've always been very partial to the SR25 and similar platforms. You know, they have a general look of like an M4. Obviously they're chambered in the 762 if it were a real firearm. But I like that it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit sturdier, but still a very familiar platform. I really like the M14s and some of the other DMRs, but I think I like the SR25 the most. So I started to set out and look for an SR25, and the thing that initially drew me to the A&K is, first of all, the price point. It's cheap. It's just under 200 bucks. It's like 199.95 if my memory serves me. And the second thing is, it's all metal. It's very sturdy. It's got actually a great build quality. I was really impressed for the price point, how sturdy it is. You don't hear any like rattles or any looseness. So it's for a gun that's going to be a project anyway. Starting with something that's relatively inexpensive was very preferable for me. The as I said, the build quality is great. It's you've got the upper and lower receiver and rail are all full metal. You do get the polymer grip and plastic stock. The gun is not without faults. I will say that there are a few things right off the bat that really bother me, but we'll get into that in a minute. In the box, you get an unjamming / cleaning rod that pretty much every gun comes with. They do give you a vertical grip, which is nice. They give you a couple of rail segments. Some of the reviews that I read on this gun said that the rail pieces are sharp and they hurt people's hands. I don't plan on using the rail segments anyway. I always play with gloves, so it's not a huge issue for me. And then they give you a high cap, which I can just go ahead and toss that anyway because I don't run high caps. Funny enough, just as a little sidebar, there's a spot in the styrofoam for a speed loader. Didn't make it in the box. I don't know if I got robbed from the factory or if it fell out when e-bike was taping up the gun. I don't really care. It was probably sure just a cheap generic speed loader, so who cares. But if you are interested in purchasing this gun, there will probably be a speed loader in there. There's also a screwdriver, and obviously you get the gun. You've got some flip up sights, and should be pretty much ready to rock right out of the box. They say that it shoots between 400 and 420 feet per second. So once we do the initial setup, we will go out and chrono it and see exactly what it's shooting at bone stock before any of the modifications that we're going to do. I did hint that there are a couple of things that bother me with this gun. The first and probably the biggest, although it's an easy fix, is that being that this is a DMR style weapon, most fields and milsims and stuff like that will require DMRs to be semi-only. This one will go all the way to full auto. It's an easy fix. All you have to do is replace the fire selector with one that does not have a cutout. There is a stopper here built onto the side of the receiver. So it's just simply swapping out another fire selector will prevent this gun from going into full auto and should make it legal as an actual DMR for most fields and milsims and stuff like that. But it is something that you are going to have to do yourself, and that's kind of a drag. The other thing that really bothers me is this stock. The stock really sucks. It's the only part on this gun where I really feel like they totally just phoned it in. It's super cheap. You can see all the seams in the plastic. The butt pad is just hard plastic. So my initial thought was to do something nice like a mag pull or something like that. But I have actually got another M4 that has a pretty nice crane style stock with a nice rubber butt pad. And that M4 actually also has a fire selector without the cutout and a really nice pistol grip. So I think I'm just going to cannibalize that other rifle and swap the pistol grip because it's more comfortable, the crane stock because it's nicer, and the fire selector from that other weapon over to this one. That will get this gun basically up and running. Some of the other things that I'm going to add, obviously a magnified optic. That's usually a requirement for DMR rolls specifically, so we will do a magnified optic. I got a little army of mid-cap magazines in the 762 size for the SR25. A&K makes them. They're pretty inexpensive. My initial test shows that they feed pretty well, so we'll see how that goes. Then we're going to do some performance upgrades. We're going to add an SR25 style suppressor so we can do a nice long inner barrel, upgraded hop up and bucking and all that stuff, and a few other things to get this gun really shooting laser beams. I want it to be accurate, or as accurate as an airsoft gun can be, and have the best range possible, since most fields and milsims that do allow you to use a DMR, a lot of them will let you go up to 450p per second, and with that they usually do include like a 50 or maybe a 75 foot minimum engagement distance. So I want the most range and accuracy out of this thing as possible. And then the very last step that we're going to do is this thing is going to get a badass paint job. I haven't quite decided exactly how I want it to look yet, but it'll probably be a more desert based paint job. Probably like a tan or khaki colored base with some green and brown and stuff like that to give it a nice desert sort of feel, because most of my loadouts tend to be tan anyway. So that's the plans for this thing. Like I said, out of the box, it's pretty solid. It actually shoots really good. I was very surprised. We're going to go to chrono this thing. We're going to start ripping some of these parts off. We're going to get the magnified optic and the externals all ready to go so we can paint it, and then hopefully get the internal upgrades done really quickly and get this thing out onto the field and do a more in-depth review once it's all done and good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.